What is going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and I am joined by comic creators Alan and Dave. Welcome to the show.
Hello. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah,
Dave, welcome.
I'm just happy to be invited.
I know.
and I realized I was excited about that. I'm clapping. I'm like, I probably picked right up on my mic, and people watching this are like, that's so obnoxious. But
yeah, no, we'll just edit in a clap track over top of that.
we're just gonna add in a studio audience clap track behind everything we say, so we sound funnier.
That would be amazing.
Just add the laugh track, and it'll be great. So, well, Alan, you're back on the show. Dave, this is the first time, so welcome, and I'm excited to talk. We're gonna be talking a little bit about Pocus Hocus, and I always have to think about it because I'm like, am I gonna say it the right way or am I gonna say it the wrong way?
I think at this point, when we hear Hocus Pocus, it sounds wrong. Right, Dave, would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the rabbit in Frosty the Snowman, his name is completely wrong.
What's the rabbit in Frosty the Snowman?
Hocus Pocus.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
You learn something. See, not only is the show educational,
I know.
It's all for your childhood cartoons that you loved.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. It's funny because I always like, as I was rereading issues 1 and I was gonna say 1 and 3, but I also read 2.
Good, appreciate it.
I just skipped out 2.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's go 1 and then 3. Well, 2, I haven't read that enough, but you guys have the little note in the back where you almost like even cross out Hocus Pocus and have it say Pocus Hocus, and I love that you guys just embrace that.
Yeah, that was actually Dave's thing. So for those of you who don't know, Dave is the letterer and designer and editor and I guess manager of project and all things for keeping me and Will in line.
Which is why I wanted Dave to be on the show.
Yes. Okay. Do we just go ahead and cut me out now?
Yes.
And just let Dave go?
A lot to deal with on a regular basis.
I sensed, I was like, Alan and Will, I feel like they're not the people I need to be talking to. And so when Alan's like, can Dave come on? I was like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he was playing the long game. He was really just trying to get to you, Dave. Oh,
that's fair.
It's smart.
Yeah.
So we're talking Pocus Hocus again. You guys are have a Kickstarter coming up for issue 4. Is that correct?
Yes, we are. We're very excited for it, and obviously it's nerve-wracking because issue 1 we were happy with the results. Issue 2 we're even happier with the results. Issue 3 blew us away with the response from everybody, and now we're on issue 4. So I feel like I'm putting a lot of stress and pressure on myself for hoping that we deliver even more for the people that are enjoying the series, and just so much for ourselves in terms of growth in the fan base.
Speaking of that, it's got to be cool because, again, as I was reading the issues, you see the backers are listed on the back, at the end of the book. And issue 1, you guys had a good amount of backers, but by the time we got to issue 3, holy buckets! I was like, I'm looking for my name because that was when I finally hopped in. I'm like, man, this is harder to find it.
Yeah, because I remember whenever I sent it over to Dave originally. Dave, we had this big blurb typed up, and Dave's like, no, you got to edit that. He's like, you guys got too many people this time.
Yeah. It's just too much.
So that adds the excitement and, probably a little bit of nerves too, of getting more backers, but it's got to be cool to see the growth of support and of something that you both have put your hearts and souls into in creating this.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to think that Dave was originally in it for the money, and now he's just a fan of the series and working on it.
that still holds true.
Oh, okay. Which one more so than the other, right?
Whichever one makes you happier.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
It's a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
That's so good. So if someone is watching this interview or listening to it on the podcast for the first time, and they didn't want to go back and watch the previous time that we sat down, Alan, can you tell us a little bit about just what this series is about?
Yeah, so Pocus Hocus is it's a dark comedy, magic, horror, action comic that follows the story of a character whose name's actually Pocus Hocus, who sells his soul to a demon for actual magical powers to impress his father, who's the world's most famous magician. But, you know, as these stories go, it's the night of his first big show and his dad dies. And, you know, Pocus is just jaded. He needs to figure out how to get his soul back. And then the demon who he sold his soul to comes knocking, and not so much asking for a favor, but telling him he's going to help him in whatever he needs.
Yeah. It's cool to see, you know, as it's progressing out throughout the story of, you know, we talked a lot about the last time, the humor that's in the book and aspects of that. But now we got Dave on. I want to talk to you a little bit too about some of the lettering choices, because one of the things that we mentioned in the first couple issues was the butler and how he's written, and in this kind of just like manic like way with the word bubbles. Like, how did that process kind of come about for you? Like, what's your process, I guess, with like lettering and how you want to kind of go about putting different stuff in?
You know, it really is dependent upon like the characters and everything like that, and you know, not to be weird, but like how they speak to me, you know, when I'm reading the scripts, and you know, once I see the artwork and everything like that. Ivan, it just seemed like one of those people that, you know, is constantly like on and hopped up and stuff like that. So basically he's just like a perverse Flash. Yeah. He's not the reverse Flash.
He's the perverse.
He's the perverse Flash. So, you know what I mean? Like if I were to, you know, ever letter a Flash book, and, you know, the Flash would be talking to someone, I would run all of his words together, just because it's like, you know, I would think that's how he would talk all the time, because he's constantly moving. So Ivan is like that, but just, you know, slutty for Pocus.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. So where we're at in the story now, set us up for issue 4 a little bit for what we're going to see in this Kickstarter.
Yeah, and obviously it's light spoiler warning, because we'll try to dance around as much as possible, but you'll see it in the preview pages for the Kickstarter. All of our issues, the next issue begins exactly where the last one ended. And, you know, like I described earlier, the demon comes asking for a favor. He needs Pocus's help into getting some souls for him and to replace them with demons. And Pocus does this begrudgingly, and his assistant Emily finds out about it. She confronts him, and she's torn with guilt, and she doesn't want to wait around. So they end up going to hell in issue 3 to find the demon. And issue 3 ends with the demon finding him, and issue 4 begins exactly there. So now we finally get our clash with our long-awaited clash, I guess we should say, with Pocus and the demon, where Pocus is actually on his turf now instead of the demon's on his turf. So it's you know, we're trying to really turn that on its head a little bit.
Nice. Now, is this a final book in the arc, or where do you have more ongoing with this, or what's the plans?
Oh yeah, definitely. We are treating this one like the end of a first arc. So we kind of looked at this one like the end of a season. So this is like end of season 1. You know, we have some really cool, fun things we're going to do, but we're obviously going to make sure we bring you back for season 2. So the next issue is actually going to begin the second arc of Pocus Hocus, which I can't go too much into it, but we are very excited for it. And, you know, we're always bouncing ideas off of each other, and I'm confident, and I'm never confident in what we do, but I'm very confident in where we're going with this one.
Nice. How are you feeling, Dave? Are you feeling confident with it?
I mean, yeah, you know, I don't even read them.
I know. He just copy paste at this point.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I bold a couple words here and there and just, you know, make sure it looks fine, and Alan approves it, and we just move on.
Yep, that's it.
And Alan doesn't even read it either, because he doesn't.
No,
really
I don't
know.
either. No. Yeah, this thing's just riddled with typos.
Yeah.
We're doing such a good job of selling this to the people.
Yeah, it adds to the flavor, the authenticity of it.
That's right. Oh man. Well, so I always like when I bring on creators, you know, kind of find out how they got into creating comics. And Dave, I just kind of want to know, what was your journey with creating comics? How did you get involved with it?
By luck, really. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've been into comics since I was like 5. My brother got me into them, you know, like as a gateway drug kind of thing, you know, started with He-Man, and then you graduate on to X-Men and everything like that. And then, you know, I'm also an artist, and everybody wants to be Jim Lee, but not everyone is anywhere near as close to being as talented as Jim Lee. So you eventually give those dreams up and just go do something that makes money, and that was graphic design. And then I slaved away at like do you guys have Clipper magazine where you are? Do you know what that is?
I don't think we do.
Magazine. Are we allowed to talk about this on his show?
I don't care.
Okay.
It's basically like it's a coupon magazine. I'm sure you have coupon magazines that come into your house.
Yep.
It's just basically designing stuff like that. I did that for a very long time, until like they had like layoffs at that place, and thankfully I was on the chopping block, and then I struck out on business for my own, doing more graphic design until eventually I lucked into a buddy of mine was just like, man, you love comics. Why don't you letter? You know how to graphic design. Why don't you take this lettering course? And I was like, okay, I'll take the lettering course. Why not? And then kept getting more and more gigs. And then, here we are.
Nice. That's such a cool, it's kind of just, I love hearing people's origin stories of how they got started. And Will, I know, I said Will, Alan. I was hoping it was Will.
Will is in misery.
Yeah,
he's in misery right now.
Will's literally in misery right now.
he's tortured.
So Will was gonna be on the show, but stuff came up. He had some things, and
Will is starring in a local production of Misery. So we're very happy for him.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm glad. I just had to have you say it. I didn't want to like.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna go there and heckle him the whole time while he's up there.
He's polishing his resume.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go now and heckle him with you, but but Alan,
bring vegetables.
Right. How did you get into comics? I know I asked you this last time, but I know I'd love to hear for people that are checking out the show for the first time.
Yeah, so I've always loved comics. They've just intrigued me. I think it was more so from an artwork standpoint. That's always been my draw with a lot of it. So my grandma, she used to take me to Kroger weekly whenever we go for our grocery shopping, and they used to sell comic books there. And I love telling this because I kind of like watching Dave like implode a little bit whenever I talk about it, because it hurts me too. So I would get these comic books and then I would take them home to a 3-ring punch and then just punch those things down the spine and put them in a notebook.
Makes me sick.
I know.
It's just disgusting.
You know what? I forgot that was your origin story.
Yeah, you repressed it. I tried to repress it.
I put it out of my head, and as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, this is why I was trying to not ask him about this again.
Yeah, that's why you called me Will. You just wanted to ask Will his origin.
I was like, Will, where's Will?
Yeah.
I know it's better than Alan's.
But so then
don't bring it up again, Greg.
Don't ever bring it up.
This is it.
Yeah.
You guys have to remind me when it comes time for
you don't want me to talk about it.
Guys, we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
The safe word is 3-hole punch.
Yeah.
Alan's origin story is the new we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, they're perfect. Yeah, the comics world. I don't even want to think about the crap that I've destroyed. That was actually probably worth something. But so then I got big into literature and novels. For those of you who don't know, they're just completely lettered comic books that span through various pages without art. They're the strangest things. And then I think what really sparked back my interest for comics was I actually got really big into manga. And whenever I go back and even just read Pocus 1 again and just some of the stuff we have going forward, after you get done writing it, you look and you're like, oh crap, this reminds me a lot of so Pocus and the Demon reminds me a lot of Death Note. Stuff like that. And I'm a huge Death Note was what got me into it. So it's just kind of cool where you see you pull your influences from without even really realizing it.
Yeah. I love how I was nodding my head like I knew that it was Death Note and I've never read manga. I was like,
oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go.
So now that we've recovered from 3-hole punch, let's talk about the Kickstarter a little bit. I always like to see kind of different tiers and stuff that people have and what they're excited about. What are some stuff that you are excited about offering with this Kickstarter?
So obviously the big thing is, of course, returning fans. There's going to be so much there for you guys, but we always want to cater to both. So on this one, we're actually offering our first trade paperback of the first arc of Pocus with all this. So you could also buy the trade paperback as an add-on for any physical tier that you want, or just buy it separate. So if you're new coming in, you don't have to buy each individual issue. You could just get our first trade paperback. But I think the most adventurous thing that we're trying on this one, Dave and I talked a lot about this, but we've heard from several people that they like these, and I think that they're awesome, but it's metal covers for the comic books.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're taking all 4 of Brian's original covers from issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Dave made them virgin covers, and then we're offering all those as metal covers individual or at a cheaper rate if you buy all 4 together. And then the same is also for a friend of ours who's been there since day one, and that is the very talented Mr. Kit Wallace. So all of his variant covers are also going to be virgin as well, and we're offering all those in metal. So you can either buy all those together at a discounted rate, or you get them just individual for pick and choose your favorites.
Nice. I've seen comics do the metal covers. I haven't actually gotten to experience one yet. I'm intrigued though by it.
They blew my mind. Like the first time you see it, because you're like, so is the whole comic book of metal? Is the front and back metal? But no, it's just a nice, clean piece of metal on the front, and it just feels like you're holding something worth something, even if it is Pocus Hocus. Yeah,
they're life-changing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and then we have, of course, we brought back our Horus T-shirt that we had on the last campaigns, and we actually have a new T-shirt on this one, and it is designed by Brian, who does all of our interiors, and it is a tarot card shirt of Pocus. So I can't wait for everyone to see that.
Nice. Yep. Dave, how did you get talked into doing the metal covers now? Smart. So is there a tier that that you liked, or did Alan steal all the good ones?
I don't know. I just told Alan to send me something shiny, and I'll be happy. So
yeah.
Be chromium, it could be metal, doesn't matter. He could send me like the tab of a soda can, and I'll be fine with it.
Yep.
Nice. So I love that idea of that you have the trade paperback. That if someone, you don't have to go back, because I know you guys offered a tier, I think previously, where you get the earlier issues if you didn't get them.
Yeah, and we obviously wanted to do that, but the idea of the trade paperback was already there. And yeah. I felt like it wouldn't have set right with me if I knew that we were going to do a trade paperback, didn't offer it here, but then offered it on the next campaign. Because obviously I want to cater to everybody, whether they be newcomers or fans of the series. And so just to show them, if someone new comes in, they don't have to go ahead and get all of it. They can just get the trade paperback, or if they still want to get the trade paperback and everything individual, it's on there too.
So you just waited till I hopped in on issue 3 and got all the back issues, and then you said, "Okay, now that he's in, we'll offer."
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's how I roped you in, right?
All right, thanks.
You get the luxury of just buying the single tier. You're fine then. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love trade paperbacks. They got to go on the shelf. So
yep,
you hooked me in. So
yeah, we even offer that one in hollow foil and metal too. So we have 3 versions of the trade paperback.
Stop, y'all are just.
It's going to be so pretty.
It is going to be pretty.
I can't even.
Yeah, it's over 100 pages for the trade paperback, and it's a lot. I didn't realize that we wrote that much until we figured it up, because I was trying to get Dave was already doing the pre-builds for it, and I was like, "So how many pages we got here?" He's like, "Maybe 90." I was like, "Dave, that math doesn't seem right." And then we figured it up, and it's like 104 pages altogether, I think, once you put everything together.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't go to math school, so
yeah.
And look at you now. So
here I am.
I didn't go to math school either, and maybe that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And the world is better for it.
Right?
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I think. So well, I saw on social media we were talking a little bit backstage. You guys got a little news last couple of weeks with some stuff with Pocus Hocus here.
Yeah, so we are very happy, lucky, fortunate, nervous, every emotion you could think of, except for angry. I'm not angry yet. That we got picked up by SourcePoint Press. So Pocus, the reach for the audience will be able to grow substantially, and we obviously can't say too much, but just stay tuned because we have a lot of really cool, fun announcements coming up too.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah,
So
it's very exciting.
Can I even ask, like, how did that kind of come about? Were you approached by them? Did you guys approach them? And
yeah, so it was one of those things where I always bounce ideas off of Dave, and Dave's done a lot of work for SourcePoint Press because unfortunately Dave is very good and in high demand, and that sucks for me. Whenever we need something quick, Dave's like, "Yeah, you're on the list."
Yep, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, I kind of asked him. I was like, "So, to grow the reach of this, what are you seeing from?" Because Dave does a lot of work for SourcePoint. It's like, what kind of books is SourcePoint putting out? What are they doing? What are you seeing? Do you think this would fit? And Dave said, "Well, the only way is just to try."
Yeah.
And it was kind of like how we approached comics, right? Will and I decided one day, let's just make a comic. Let's just try it. And then, like Dave said, you just got to try. And then we submitted it, and yeah, they said yes, to our surprise.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. It's exciting because like you said, you get the chance to expand the reach a little bit, and and see what type of audience that you can pick up now.
Right.
Because, like we said earlier in the show, you all have been growing this through the book, from issue 1, 2, and 3 already, to just kind of see where we're at then with issue 4 and on. It's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting, and we're excited for the future too. Not so much with Pocus, but unfortunately Davis said yes to also future endeavors of stuff we're working on. And another thing that you're going to see on there is an ash can for our new comic coming out after Pocus 4, and this one's called Grandma Chainsaw, and it is it's a slasher horror comedy. Think Evil Dead meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with a grandma at the center of it,
with Golden Girls.
Yep.
All right, hold on. You had me at chainsaw slasher, but then you said, and then you threw in Golden Girls.
Yeah.
just in case someone missed it, tell that title again, because I want people to really hear what you just said.
The title of it is Grandma Chainsaw, and like I said, the ash can is going to be available. And just for you guys here, I also linked the trailer for Grandma Chainsaw in our chat here, so you can have that too, and we can clip it in here as well with the Pocus trailer as well.
Oh, so I think what we should do then is we'll link that trailer, or we'll put that in here. And then you said you sent me the other one as well.
Yep, it's in there.
See, I just thought you were sending me more fluff, and I just
it's kind of fluff, right? But yeah, so we have that, and then there's also another ash can that's going to be on there too, and that is a little comic we wrote with Kit Wallace, the guy that does our variant covers, called Horus in Hell. So it gives the origin story for everyone's favorite demonic pink bunny.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are these, when you're saying these ash cans are going to be available, is it going to be available through the Kickstarter, or?
Yep. Yeah, they're all add-ons. Yeah.
Okay.
Both ash cans are add-ons for this campaign as well.
Okay. And then moving forward, more with series and stuff of those, hopefully moving forward.
Yes. Yeah. Grandma Chainsaw is moving right along in production. We're obviously Pocus. We're right. Focusing on Pocus for right now. We're at the time of recording this, we only have 10 pages left to finish in it. Pocus 4 is a 28-page comic, and when that one's done, we're moving right back over to Grandma Chainsaw, and we've already got a big chunk cut out of that one. But more puns, right?
Pun intended. Yeah. I don't know why I said zoom like a lightsaber, but you figured it out. It works.
I knew what you meant. It's fine.
So we got the laugh track that we're adding in. We'll just add a chainsaw over. It'll be perfect. So what I want to ask then, since I have both of you here, what kind of is a process then between where you have, Alan, your stuff from that you've written, and how you're getting it to then Dave, like that process of writer to letter, because I feel like those are parts that you really have to work closely together a little bit to make sure like the tone is the same and you're vibing a little bit. So how's that process for you both working?
Yeah. So I'll start here, Dave, and then I'll let you finish it.
That's
typical writer.
It's just like what happens in the comics.
Yeah, so, perfect. Yeah. So Will and I, we obviously get together. We write the whole thing. And then I'll send it to Dave as we go. Will and I usually write 8 to 10 pages at a time. We'll send it off to Dave, let him look at it. We'll bounce ideas off of each other, and then we'll edit. And then we send him the final script. He says, yeah, this is good. And I think that the biggest edits probably happen from both of us whenever we finally get the colored page back. Okay. So Dave will he'll letter what was on the page or what was in the script over to the page. And then that's when I'm like, well, hey, what if we try this? And you're like, yeah, I think that works well. Or he'll completely erase dialogue and change it. And he says, and this is the kind of letterer that you want to find. Someone that actually reads your work and understands it. Mm-hmm. And he'll send stuff back and be like, no, I don't think Pocus would really say it this way. I think Pocus would say it this way. Or no, I don't think this fits Emily's character, her saying this. Let's just change 2 words around and we're fine. And that's an awesome relationship that you want to have, because everyone's in there for the betterment of the project and not just to move stuff around.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Dave? Was that it?
Yeah. What else? That's pretty succinct. That's it. That's one.
So
I make him look much better than he actually is.
And that's what a very hard task. So is that why you charge me double compared to everybody else?
That is correct.
Knew it. All right.
So, Dave, when you get the books, you basically get to see mostly of a finished product, and then you're adding your touch to it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
And then, so for you, like, I know you said earlier of like trying to get into the character, trying to get into the mind, and how do you start to shape that of who the character is? And like, Alan said, oh, this character wouldn't say that. How does that kind of come about to you?
Just, repeated exposure of like reading the scripts and, seeing the artwork and just, it's all just, it really is a collaborative process because, if say Brian draws a certain expression on one of the characters and, the dialogue doesn't fit the character, we have to go back and just be like, okay, well, this is totally different than what you had, but we could still make it work, obviously. But, maybe add an exclamation point, make their dialogue more emphatic or whatever, just to, make it fit. So you don't have somebody like staring off into space and they're just, not even fitting with whatever should be their dialogue.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like Dave said, it's so much more collaborative than, just writer to letterer. Brian is such an integral part to the whole thing. Like Dave said, I love seeing how Brian reads the script and interprets it, because there's some stuff that Brian has sent back that we're just like, this is way better than what was in the script before, or why didn't we think of this to make the characters act this way, because this is hilarious. And then Jason immediately, our colorist, just once he brings that extra bit of life to the black and white pages that we get in, I think that's when everyone really shines together.
Nice. Well, I'm excited. So Kickstarter drops when?
We are dropping the 28th. So yeah, it's going to be here sooner rather than later. And depending on when you're seeing this, we hope that we're already funded.
Yeah. Because
that's the goal.
There's a chance, depends on this drops, you could be seeing it and it hasn't even been out yet. It'll come out the next day, and if they're already funded before they launch, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's make Kickstarter history. Let's be funded before we launch.
And then or it could be in the middle of the campaign, which would be awesome that it will be funded. So well, y'all have a lot going on, it sounds like. I hesitate to ask because you've already told us, the world of Pocus Hocus, Grandma Chainsaw and other stuff. Is that kind of your focus right now, Alan, or you got more? And then I'm going to have the same question for you, Dave, of what you're working on right now.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously those 2 franchises right now are what we're really trying to hone in on. But of course, we don't want to drive ourselves crazy. Right. Just banging your head off the wall just with 2 things. So Will and myself, we have a lot of other titles that we're working on. and just ideas that we're like, okay, could this work as a comic book? Could this not work? How about we like this idea. Let's just, once we find the time to do it, let's just have a one-off issue or two-off issue. And I think that this will be good. I think people like this. So yeah, it's, and like I said too, with the Source Point picking us up, it's kind of lit in a fire underneath us, right? Because it feels like we're on the right track with something. So we obviously want to keep everything fresh and exciting, and just hope that everyone's having as much fun reading it as we're writing it.
Absolutely. And so Dave, it sounds like you're working on a lot of stuff. Is there anything that you can
what aren't you doing, Dave?
All the things. I'm working on all the things. We Gods. Oh God.
30,000 issues of Good Boy.
Good Boy. Yeah. I mean, number volume 3, number 1 should be coming my way shortly. I'm not sure when. Mysterium. Mike just sent me some script for Midnight Highway.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't know.
A lot.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So where can
Grandma Chainsaw?
Yeah, yeah, do that one too.
Pocus Hocus.
Yeah.
So with everything that y'all have coming up and are creating, where can people follow along with what you're making?
Yeah, so you can follow along with me at Twitter at Chaps of Fury, Pocus Hocus Comic at gmail.com for any questions at all. But more importantly, I think the best place to stay informed is just follow us on Kickstarter. Okay. We are Alan and Will listed under Kickstarter, but of course we're the only people dumb enough to name our project this. You just have to search Pocus Hocus, and you're good.
And what about you, Dave? Where can people follow along with what you're creating?
Yeah, mostly I'm on Facebook. Everything else I neglect a lot. So it's just, search Dave Lentz and you'll find me. I'm somewhere. I'm on there.
Well, gang, make sure you stick around as this wraps up, because we will show these trailers and then we will say goodbye. So with that being said, let's check out these trailers.
Pocus Hocus, the greatest magician the world has ever known. Such amazing feats, a captive audience. But it wasn't always so, was it? We had a deal, Mr. Hocus. Don't forget who made you. Hocus Hocus.
Well, there you go, gang. Those were the trailers that we promised you. Alan, Dave, thank you so much for just taking some time to sit down and talk about comics with me.
Yeah, anytime.
Absolutely,
Can't wait to come back for all the adventures that we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, make sure you guys click the link, the Kickstarter, go support this, check out what they're creating, what they're working on. And hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.